Navigating the road to success in the entertainment industry can be daunting, but we're here to help keep you centered. Undetoured, navigating the artist's journey. In the last 2 decades, my next guest has built an impressive resume, being on both sides of the camera. But you may know her best as the evil Agent Connie Frazier on the Netflix mega-hit series, Stranger Things. She's also currently seen on The Morning Show, Just Beyond on Disney+, Sweet Magnolias on Netflix. She starred in 2 hit Lifetime original movies, Psycho In-Law and A Sister's Secret. She's been on countless TV shows, movies, opposite stars such as Michael Keaton, Sandra Bullock, Demi Moore, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Chris Pratt, Benicio del Toro coming up, and the list goes on and on. Oh, did I mention Samuel L. Jackson? Yeah. She's worked opposite him as well, and Jeremy Irons. Yeah, the list goes on and on. Not only that, but she's found time to be an advocate for homeless pets. And she's also created a home for many of Atlanta's actors. With her founding co-partners, she's created Drama Inc., one of the city's premier acting studios. Let's drop in on the conversation I had with my dear friend, Catherine Dyer, earlier this fall. I wanted to welcome you guys back. I'm so grateful that you were able to slow down and take the time and join us back here at Base Camp. And I'm just so honored to speak with a dear friend today. And I think we've known each other for quite a while, haven't we?
We have, yeah.
Yeah, this is Kat Dyer. I'm sure you know her, but she's a wonderful actor, director, a photographer, a teacher, a mentor, so many roles, including a wonderful mom to 2 furry, lovable, sweet pets that are right there in the background, and a wonderful wife as well.
There he is.
Yes. Kat, welcome to
cone.
Base Camp. Welcome to Undetoured. And thank you for taking the time. I know you are so busy with your schedule and all that you do. And I'm just so grateful that you're here with us today.
I'm honored that you asked me, so thank you very much. Has anyone ever told you that you look like Drew Barrymore?
Oh, that is so sweet of you. And I love her essence. I feel like we would be really best friends if we were to know each other. I think that the way that we convey ourselves is very similar energetically. So that's very sweet.
I've never seen that before until you started talking. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, we have a similar essence in the way we speak, for sure.
Yeah.
It's probably the semblance. I have a little bit of a semblance, and
it's
yeah. I love Drew. I'm honored.
Yeah.
I'm honored. She's hilarious. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit today because Undetoured is a little different than most podcasts. We're really in the direction of guiding people and their mindset shifts, which in order to become successful, we go through so many peaks and valleys of our career. And as you know, this is a marathon, not a sprint. And so we need to stay in it for the long haul. And so I wanted to kind of take you all the way back, if you could, to the sandbox, to when you were extremely young, and be able to kind of see, first of all, were you a type of child that was so focused that you knew you wanted to be an actor, or did you have a support system that even helped you with that journey, or is it something that you came to later?
It's the latter. I came to later. No, as a kid, I just sort of went with the flow. I was like, okay, I'm not sure what I want to do. I'm just, go through school. I wasn't a great student. I hated math, especially. I took, right after high school, I did take an acting class at the Alliance here in Atlanta.
Wonderful theater.
And I thought, well, this is something that I enjoy and I think I can do. And there's no math.
Yeah, I mean, who likes math? I hate math.
Right?
I'm so terrible at it.
I'm terrible. You'd be amazed at how many students we get at Drama Inc. who are scientists and math majors. It's bizarre.
Well, it's interesting that you say that because there is a difference that goes on in the right side of the brain versus the
Right.
left side of the brain in how we create. And I'm really fascinated with this. I've been studying a lot about neuroscience and how the brain pathways work, and specifically about the manifestation of what we're able to bring into our existence through just shifting how we perceive the world around us, how we're grateful in it, and how
Hmm.
versus being analytical. And so that it shifts from I'll believe it when I see it to I'll see it when I believe it. So I
Yeah.
love that. I love
Yeah.
that you have scientists in your school because I feel like in a way they need to be able to break through that. And what better way than in a loving and safe environment such as Drama Inc., which is one of our premier schools here in Georgia. If you're not from Georgia, they actually have classes online as well. And we'll tell you how to get to them later. But I feel like you guys have been so supportive through for everyone who've come through those doors, no matter what level that they were at, that you just met them there at that level. But I feel like for you, when you were younger and you were just kind of coming into it with the Alliance Theater and through some of the things that you were exploring, what was the light? What was the aha moment that clicked that said, "Oh my gosh, I have to do this"?
It wasn't more I have to do it. It was more I can do this. I can do this. Let me see how far I can take this. And I applied at the American Academy of Dramatic Arts in New York without my parents' knowledge. And this was soon after high school. And back in the olden days, I they had regional auditions, and one was in North Carolina. So my sister and I drove to North Carolina to audition, and I auditioned fine, went well, I felt good, and I got a letter some months later accepting me. And then I told my parents, I said, well, I'm moving to New York. I'm
Wow,
going to
so you
school.
didn't even tell them to begin with. And was it because you feared their response, or were they supportive parents in general when it came to, exploring more of a creative artist career?
Well, I didn't. They didn't want my parents. I'm from New York originally, and my parents are obviously New Yorkers. I think they didn't want me to move to New York by myself. That's what it would have been. It wouldn't have been the career itself. Um, so I sprung it on them, and they kind of freaked out, like, you did what? But we're absolutely supportive. Absolutely. My father helped me get a loan to get into the school, and he, flew up with me and moved me into the all female hotel, the Martha Washington Hotel that was across the street from the Academy on Madison Avenue. Oh, that was a trip. And then they supported it. Yes, it's what I wanted to do. And once I started school and started classes, and I just loved it. It was not like being in a classroom because I wasn't a great student. I was loving everything I was studying and loving the instructors.
So I love that you said and you admitted you weren't a great student, and I completely resonate with that. Although my parents would probably say differently, I don't feel like I was a great student either. I think I was like in developmental math just to get me to graduate, like
Yeah, yeah,
college.
yeah,
Like I
yeah.
had to take that
Right,
like freshman course, but I look like a
right,
freshman anyway because I was short, so it didn't
right.
matter. But yeah, but I love that you said that because I feel like that's important for anyone going forward with any kind of career, but especially one in the arts, that you don't have to worry about necessarily being that ABC student, whatever it is, but the desire and the intention and like your heart goal that your highest soul's path is meeting you at a place where you have the technique that's able to get you to where you need to be. And it's more of what your mindset is, that you can do this, and that and for some people they feel like they have to do it, that it's just this compelling thing. So I love that you said that you didn't have to be a great student, because I think that sometimes there's barriers. They feel like, oh well, I'm not good at this portion or this portion of my life, so therefore I couldn't learn how to do accents or learn how to do this portion of the entertainment industry. But there's just so many people and courses and everything to help support that, because it is like a big family. It
It
seems to be.
is, and those barriers that we put in front of ourselves, that's we just keep telling ourselves that, well, I can't do that, I can't do that, I can't do that. Then you're right, you can't, and you won't until you change that mindset.
Absolutely. And the mindset, and it goes into everything in life, right?
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
feel like anything that's so uncomfortable, it's probably what you should be doing, because in that way you're not going to be uncomfortable with it anymore. I feel like
Right.
it's like one of those muscle memories, just like playing a piano or an instrument. Anything that you do is going to just take time. So you went through school, you did your time in New York. Obviously, you were there for a while because you were doing plays there, and you met someone very
Mhm.
special there, right?
I did. I actually went to LA for a little while on my own, and then back to New York, and that's where I met Jason. And the whole time was I was waiting on tables. I was a foot messenger. I was a bartender. I was a host. I did, yeah, whatever I could do to pay my rent.
Yeah, and in that, how did you feel in that hustle mode, right? Like, I mean, do you feel like sometimes that when you're in this amazing part of your life now, you look back and like what you would have told your 20-year-old self at this point?
Um, the hustle mode was just all I knew. And as soon as I got accepted to the academy, I worked 2 jobs, might have squeezed in 3 jobs to help, get money to move to New York. I'm kind of a hustler, and I don't mean that in a pejorative way. It's just I just keep moving, but I'm not a type A personality person. But it's what I know. I mean, I started working when I was 13. My first job, I think I was 13, at a movie theater. So I like to work. So I like forward momentum. Um, what I would have told myself, oh my God, I would have told myself, do not put industry professionals, casting directors, producers, agents, do not put them above you because they are just people. And and I would have told myself to find that confidence sooner. I found it later in life.
I think it's so important that you say that the people in the industry that we consider gatekeepers, they're just people. And I feel like a lot of people forget that the relationships are the most important thing that you can make in this industry, like true friendship relationships with peers and even with the people that are considered the gatekeepers, because they can totally sense if
Oh
your
God. Oh yeah.
ulterior motives are like screaming of desperation.
Oh yeah. They can smell it from the parking lot when we used to go in person. Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
and I've had students say, "I've got to work on this audition. It's a huge audition. It's going to be huge." I'm like, "It's just an audition. It's just another audition. Learn from it, grow from it. If you book it, that's icing on the cake." You want to leave the room, whether it's in the room or the Zoom room, you want to leave that audition going, "Yeah, I did a good job. I did everything I wanted to do. Now, next, get me to the next one."
Exactly. Like, I can book this job, but I don't need this job.
Yeah,
And that's palpable. I feel like sometimes I've
it is.
heard casting directors, they don't know what it is. They can't put their finger on it. So for them, it's maybe not palpable, but that they know that there's just something not right. And it's usually an energy shift that they're feeling, like this sense of like desperate energy that tends to be almost, we call energy vampires. I posted something on my Instagram actually this week about energy vampire season. It's
Oh,
energy vampire season. And that, you know,
it's
you
giving me agita just thinking
yeah,
about that.
yeah,
Yeah,
because you've had people probably in
yeah,
your life, maybe even people close to you, that you felt this from, and how you deal with that, like how, and sometimes it's people that are very close to you and you don't realize it, and then you just feel
yeah.
drained afterwards. You don't feel
Sure.
uplifted. So how do you deal with that, especially being someone like you, where you have so many people coming through the doors there at DI, and you're on multiple sets, and just doing all the traveling that you're doing? How do you protect yourself from that energy like kind of seeping in? Do you have any?
Well, I'm really private, despite what you might think on social media, because my husband posts everything.
Well, it's great
But
that you're opposites in that way, because he's your best cheerleader,
thank God,
right?
because
And it's
he's a
a
great
wonderful
PR
mix.
person. Yes, he
Wonderful.
is my cheerleader. He's my supporter. He's my PR person. He's my marketing person. Yes, he's my coach. So yeah, that is great. But I don't, I'm not one, I don't rush out and make a lot of friends. I do, I keep myself, I keep a small circle. Um, and I can tell I'm pretty good, a pretty good judge of character. And I think part of that is I learned part of that from waiting on tables for 10,001 years. Um, Not to say that I judge people instantly, but you get a feeling, you get a sense of their energy. And if it's something negative or something that is, I feel like someone's going to be taking, I back off. I back off. I don't, I don't pursue a relationship with that person. Jason, I like to say you should surround yourself with fountains, not drains.
Oh, I love that. That's the first time I've heard that. Something
Hmm.
that fills you up, that fills
Hmm.
you with it, because it's so important in this lifetime, especially as storytellers. I feel, and I've mentioned this before on the podcast, we're empaths. We feel more than most people feel. I feel like it's ingrained in us to be empaths, whether we know it or not. Some people are coming into it. Some people have known it for a long time that they're empaths, and they are very
Yes.
protective of that energy, because it will be something that could be detrimental to them later down the line, health wise, because we take on a lot of the energy that surrounds us, so that if we're not able to protect ourselves. And I do have a wonderful meditation that I'm going to give to you guys, to the listeners soon, which is a wonderful bubble meditation that will protect you in a protective bubble, so that you can go onto set, or you can go into that wonderful audition, but you don't have to feel like anything's permeating you and you're not taking on what's already there, because there's just so many different energies there, both in waiting rooms, if we ever get back to that, but also just being on set. It's hard. There's a lot of people
Absolutely.
that have been there for 5 hours before. Sometimes you've even come on set, and just to not, let that affect you. So, what do you?
That's huge. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So what do you do though in your downtime to kind of fill that well up on your own? I know it's very energizing to be on set, and when you come off of it, it can be either energizing or draining. But what do you do in the valleys? Like, for example,
I
during the
drank.
pen,
I drank a lot, Sloan. No, I'm kidding.
a lot of water. I drink a lot of water too. I think water is really important.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
No, no. I mean, it is an antioxidant. It has its place. I know you don't drink a lot, but what do you do? Do you get out in nature? Do you meditate? Do you do yoga? What do you do?
I love being at home. I love I read. I listen to books and I read books. I walk. I do a 45-minute walk around the neighborhood and I listen to books. Um, I really love being at home. I have like I said, a small group of friends, and a lot of them are neighbors, and we get together, at one of our homes on the street, and it's really sort of chill. I'm not a big hiker. When I go to LA, and a friend will say, let's get together and go for a hike. I'm like, no, let's go have coffee. Let's go have a glass of wine. I'm not into hiking. I have hiked
Yeah.
on my own out there. And it's great, but it's great, but it's very solo. And on a couple of my hikes, I don't see anyone, and it kind of scares me
Yeah,
because
you
as a female,
absolutely.
I look around and go, if anything happened to me, no one would hear me. I'm up in the Hollywood Hills. No one would hear me. That's where my mind goes, sadly.
Well, no, it's good to protect you, because your mind is working in a special way to protect you. Like, you
Yeah.
didn't feel the energy of it, then don't do it. I love that your friends that I see when you post pictures, they usually are not in the entertainment industry. You've surrounded yourself with very diverse,
You're
groups of
right. Yeah.
friends, and that's very balancing too. Talk about that, because the energy is different, like conversations are different. And I feel like it's so important for the listener and for everyone to know that, just to have that diversity in your life of different friend sets, so that it's not all like, not to say that people are in the industry are narcissistic, but it is kind of a me conversation based, whereas in their self-worth is determined by what they've just worked on or what they're about to
Yeah.
work on, not versus, wow, this is an amazing life I have. I'm resplendent in it, and I get to be at home with my dogs. You know what I mean? Like, tell me a little bit about how that energy shifts between the two
Uh,
people.
that is a good point. they're so excited about what I do and what Jason does. It's thrilling. They're tickled about it. And to us, thankful, very thankful, it's our jobs, and they love hearing about it. It's like, no, it's not that big a deal. And that's not to say I don't have actor friends. I mean, Scott and Claire are very good friends, and we hang out on our porch from time to time and have a little glass of wine. I'm not a big drinker, okay? Um, and we talk industry in a different way on a different level. But yeah, I mean, it's what my friend Tina is a graphic artist. Lisa is uh, a lawyer. A friend who's an architect. I'm a flight attendant. It is good to have people, non-industry people, because it's also not. There's no one up. There's no. Well, yeah, I auditioned for that too. I wonder why I didn't get a call back. That sort of thing, and that is inherent in what we do. Sort of an envy. Not that you aren't happy for that other person, but there is a, what about me? What did I do wrong? Why don't they like me? And that is a little narcissistic. And I do have to pull back. Oftentimes it's like, oh my God, enough. I'm not talking about anyone in particular. Please don't think I am. Because I do have a good many actor friends, but it is good to have both, so you can balance your life out with both.
And I'm so glad that you mentioned that, because I feel like, and I'm the same way when I'm around my clients, because as you know, I also do energy work and massage work to help balance out my life. And I feel like it's so important for me to do that energetically. And they're just they are your biggest cheerleaders. They're amazingly supportive. They want to know, oh, did you get that thing you auditioned? I'm like, which one? Like, it's a job. Because you would never ask that of an insurance agent. Did you get that person that came in the other day for your interview? Like, you would never ask that ever, like ever. But for some reason, it's like this amazing thing, the show business. But it's a business, and people forget that part. They forget that this is work. This is just a business, and that we need to well round ourselves and doing other things so that we can be the full person we want to be in life. And in return, that energy shows, because when you're a full person, things will gravitate your way. Opportunities will come your way. Casting directors will be like, wow, that person is just a joyful, grateful person to be around. They don't need to be here, but they're happy to be here. They don't need this job, but they certainly are capable of this job. And you feel that you get invited back to places. For example, you've been on not one, but two Lifetime movies as a lead, and that's just a wonderful thing to be invited back to a network. Those network execs were like, yep, she's what we need for this. And I love that you're like, a lot of times this bad person, because you're one of the nicest people I've ever met in my entire life. But I feel like that those people are definitely the best bad people. And I feel that way about my husband too. He was a great villain when he did shows. But how does it feel to get into that energy of being the the badass woman on a set? How do you get into that, and then how do you let it go too?
It's fun. I would have never thought that that I would be cast as something like Agent Connie Fraser in Stranger Things. I'm usually the one that puts on the pearls, the pearl necklace, the whole thing.
I feel like Connie Fraser could have still worn pearls and been badass though. Like she still
could have.
Yeah, she had that essence about her. But yeah, tell me about that. I mean, Stranger Things, you didn't know what it was at the time. No one knew what it was going to be. You just go in and you do your job and you realize, oh my gosh, I'm part of an absolute phenomenon that's globally recognized as one of the best shows ever.
Yes, it was just another job. I sort of had to jump through hoops to get it. I had the audition. I had a few callbacks. I met Carmen Cuba, and Chase was like giving me one of these, like, not saying anything. But I'm like, stop looking at me like that. Don't. I'm not, because you know how it is. If in the room they say, "Wow, you're exactly what we're looking for," you'll never hear from them again.
Right. And she's talking about Chase Paris, who is an amazingly supportive casting director, him and Tara Feldstein, and a casting company here that does literally all of your favorite TV shows that you're watching right now.
For sure. So yes, he was very supportive in the room, and so I had to go through several auditions, and then I had to write a pitch bio, which I had never done before.
Okay, so
Thankfully,
tell us what, for the listener that does not know what the pitch bio is, tell us, what is this?
well, thankfully Jason, who is a great writer and my PR person, he wrote it for me, and he wrote basically all of the famous people I had worked with. It was an elongated bio. She worked, toe to toe with so and so, toe to toe with all the famous people that I'd worked with. Because no one said, "Here's what a pitch bio is. Do it." We just kind of made it up for ourselves. Um, and then and then made sort of like a one pager and put pictures in. Like, I have a picture of me with Schwarzenegger. I have a picture of me with De Niro. Picture of me with Zac Efron. You know,
This
it's
sounds
so
like
to
a really good actionable step that any actor could do
anyone,
today. And they should
anyone,
have it on hand just in case that
always
next
have.
audition. I love this. I love actionable steps. This is wonderful. This is like gold. Thank you so much. So yeah,
We
you
call it
have
our one sheets.
one
Yeah,
sheets.
and we have
Okay.
it's on our desktop, and it's always there at the ready, and it's real simple. And we send it to my manager, and he said, "This is brilliant. Thank you. I can just forward this to people, along with your reel." But yeah, so I did the job. I was hired for 2 episodes, and then they wrote me into 3 more.
I love that. Well, that must have been because you're the joy person you are. Like you're just a joy to be
I don't
around. So
I don't know. Well, I don't know. I mean, it was, I didn't get much from the Duffer Brothers. They're pretty quiet. They're kind of taciturn, and I figured they're not saying anything to me. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to
but
keep
you
doing
showed up and
exactly
you
what I'm
did your
doing.
job. Yeah.
Um, and it wasn't until, the like the week before, it was July when it dropped. I was reading, following social media, and Stephen King tweeted, um, Netflix's server is about to go down because of the show. He knew. I went, wait a minute, Stephen King is tweeting about Stranger Things. It was like, look out, Netflix's server is about to go down. So I thought, okay. And then after it dropped, the next day, I was seeing Connie Fraser for President t-shirts on the internet.
That must have been very surreal.
It was totally surreal, but I got one. I
Yeah, of
bought
course.
one.
Of course you did. I mean, why not? And so like, how does that, obviously that's a boost, right? Like that's that boost of energy, that adrenaline that we love and we clamor for as actors. But then after that, was there a dip, or did it just keep on going from there?
Well, and this is sort of the fallacy or misconception of what we do. People think, wow, then you're made, you're done. Scripts are being sent to you and you're loaded. That was a scale plus 10 job. Residuals weren't that great for Netflix. It was, yeah, I mean, if you Google my net worth on the internet, I've
Oh, I
seen
Googled my net worth and I'm like, oh, wow, I wish.
$16.9 million, $4.2 million. Someone told me the other day it was like 1.2. I thought, I'm losing money. I don't know where it's going, but it's just
You're not investing it wisely,
ridiculous,
apparently.
right? It is ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. That's where people go, wow, you must be rich now, which I'm still living in my 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom house. So, okay. It was an energy shift for sure, but it wasn't, I didn't catapult up. It was different, absolutely. I had Stranger Things at the top of my resume. My reel started with Stranger Things, and it was, oh, her. So yeah, that is awesome. That's fantastic. And I'm so grateful. Grateful is the word that I use. I mean, when I get up and have my coffee in the morning, I can sit out on my little screened-in porch. I'm like, I'm so grateful. I can be here and do this. I'm very appreciative of
I
what
love that.
I have and what I'm doing.
See, that's so important. And I think it's one of the things that we miss when we're in the valleys of our career is just the gratitude. One of the things we do with
Oh,
our family actually is every single night, since they were able to speak, we do a prayer. But before the prayer, we each go through one grateful thing that all the grateful things that happened to us that day, and we go through one affirmation statement that is a positive statement in an I am form about
Love it.
ourselves.
I
And I
love
think
it.
that is so important for kids, but not only just kids, it should be adults, it should be everyone, like that I am a creator, I am an artist, I am an actor, just putting it out there, putting that energy
I
out there.
I made for our class, the breakdown at Drama Inc. I teach with Dustin Lewis. I have a meditation. We have guided meditations, and I made my own, and it is all I am affirmations, because we have to put that out there. We have to tell ourselves good and positive things about ourselves. Otherwise, we drown in negativity. And it's hard to find that when you're in a valley. And I waited on tables for so many years. I went, let's see, 2009, not counting 2020. I think I booked one thing in 2019, so it is peaks and valleys, and it always will be, unless you get to a Meryl Streep status.
Right. Well, that's why we're called journeymen. We're journeyman
For
storytellers. We're
sure.
at
For
this
sure.
at the craft of it. We're always trying to get better.
Yep.
You're always trying to surround yourself with the best possible classes and people and just good feelings that you can, because as empaths, as storytellers, we tend to feel, and if we're not getting the feedback, which we rarely do, I mean, we're lucky if we get feedback from our agents or anyone that we're sending, the casting director. It's very rare that you get feedback these days, but just to kind of know that even without that feedback, you are valid.
Yep.
You are a storyteller. You're meant to be here. This is your highest soul's path. This is why God put you here, Catherine, is because you are meant to share your energy and your experience with people, and just feel that, to your core, and know it in your soul is just an important thing.
It is. I hope everybody is really listening to what you just said, because yeah, it is so important for every human being, no matter what industry you're in.
And how beautiful of an industry that we're in, that we're able to mirror society and let
Mhm.
people not feel alone in this world. We do things that my mentor, the late Sam Christensen, and I get really emotional when I talk
Yeah,
about
I
him,
know. So
because
do we. So
he's
do
so
we.
amazing, but he said something so amazing, that we have the most noble profession on earth to be able to
Mhm.
mirror society and let people not feel alone in this world. How
Mhm.
amazing that is. Doctors can't do
Mhm.
that. And
Mhm.
I'm tearing up now, but
That's
I think
and
it's
I think of I did in New York. We did a production of A Clockwork Orange, and we did it on a very small stage that was sort of semi-round, and all of the actors were on stage throughout the entire show. We sat in the back, we were upstage seated until we're doing our part. And I remember sitting there, and A Clockwork Orange is a terribly violent show, book,
pretty intense. Yeah.
movie, very intense. And I would watch the audience. I'd watch the audience, and they were horrified, and I was thrilled. Like, oh my God, look what we're doing. Look how we're affecting these people. Mind you, it was with violence, but they were going to leave that theater talking about it and discussing, and they'd be moved in one way or another. Everyone was affected, and that we can do that is very exciting. That's thrilling. That's the beauty of theater. Oftentimes, you can see it live.
Absolutely. Like the catharsis of being in a live production and feeling the energy go back and forth is something I so desire again. I used to
I
do
know.
theater,
Yeah.
and I haven't done it in a very long time, actually, since my kids were born. I haven't gotten to. And I think in the beginning of the pandemic, I actually told my husband, I'm going to go audition for theater again. And then the pandemic hit. But it's okay though, because, it wasn't my time. Right. So
Yeah.
everyone
Of
has a
course. Yeah.
time for everything. I feel like everyone has that time, and when it's yours, it's going to be yours. When that role is yours, it is
Hmm.
going to be yours. It's
Hmm.
meant for you. Do you
I
feel
had a
that?
friend. I had a friend. Yes, I absolutely feel that. Um, it was with Connie Frazier. A friend of mine auditioned for it as well, and after the first episode, um, she said to me, she said, this was yours. I was like, that was a really high compliment.
And that's a very
Really
good
high
friend
compliment.
too. A very good friend to do
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Because it probably wasn't easy for her to say that. But yes, if you know what, if you and I audition for the same role and I don't get it, then it wasn't mine. It was yours. So, so be it. I don't know if that's part age or part, I went through some health stuff last year, as you might remember, and my attitude kind of changed. Really, it was, it was like, okay, if I don't get it, I don't get it. Let me go to the next one. I
Absolutely.
really have this kind of don't care attitude. I care about what I do. I care about the work I do. I care about the industry. But if this one isn't for me, then I'm going to go on to the next one. I'm not going to get into that space of, oh my God, I haven't had an audition in 3 weeks. Oh my God, I haven't booked in 6 months. Oh my God. I refuse to get there. And and those have been realities, that I don't audition
Absolutely.
for a few months. I don't work for, like I said, 2019, one job, one day co-star. I was like, I'll take it. I need to work. I'll take it. But I just can't get into that negative space. It's not healthy.
Not healthy at all. And it's so it's a blessing. It's not great what happened to you. Absolutely not. But it was a huge blessing, I think, in the long run, to show just the fragility of life and what was important to you. Not that you didn't already know it. You were so grateful of a person anyway, but just to show like your support system around you, like
Oh my
how
God.
grateful they were, to be
Oh my
in.
God.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, apparently, I guess I almost died twice. So,
Yeah.
so there you are. But it's funny. I joke that it wasn't like I saw the light. It wasn't like these two things happened and I know my purpose on the earth. None of that happened to me.
Really? So you had no like near death experience? Because that was the other thing I was going to ask you.
No,
Oh,
no.
I'm so curious about near death experiences and how that affects our psyche going forward, especially as storytellers, because, seeing something that might be on the other side, if there is another
Yeah.
side, is fascinating to me. It's always been a fascination of mine. I actually have I don't tell many people this, but I actually have a sleeping disorder. And my sleeping disorder has been since I was 15 until today. I usually have night terrors about four
Oh,
times a
geez.
week. And I usually think that someone is trying to kill me. So it's a very near death feeling every time. And poor Scott, I
Oh
mean,
my
he's been
God.
amazing to stay with me for almost 26 years coming in February. And I just feel like I don't have a grasp, though. I'm never able to fully remember what happened in the dream. I just feel the feeling of the loss of life,
Oh my
not.
God.
Yeah. But I'm such the most positive person, right? Like I try to be as positive as I can during the day because my sleep isn't really that great at night. But I found this new product. Oh my gosh, I should be like a spokesperson for them. I did find a new product on Amazon that helps me. It's called Night Shred and it's amazing. It's literally the last 3 months I haven't hardly had any night terrors. Scott said, he's like, you need to reorder it. So maybe I need to be their spokesperson. I don't know. But
Is it a pill? Is it a liquid? Is it?
yeah, they're capsules and they do have some properties in them that help with the relaxation. Properties like tryptophan and other things, ashwagandha in it that helps with relaxation. But again, something like near death, what you went through, I'm always fascinated, how that might have shifted your energy again, like what's the next level for Kat? What do you want to do now in the next 5 years?
I want to keep going. I want security. I want um I want to sign a contract knowing that I'll be working for the next year or 2 years. That's what I would like. So I'm trying to manifest that for myself. You know, I
I'm going to
I
stop you right there. I'm
why?
trying to manifest that
I
for
am
myself.
manifesting that for myself.
Exact. Thank you. Thank you.
Sloan, I was dusting my room a few months ago. I don't do that often. And I found at my bedside, I found a notebook that I had, and I flipped through it because I hadn't seen it in a while. I flipped through it, and it was I want to do this, and I want to do this, and I want to do this from 14 years ago.
Oh, I love those. I love those. Okay. And
I did them.
yes, you did.
I did them all. I read like, oh my God, I've done that. I am doing that. I was living what I said I wanted. I was blown away by it. So
Wow.
I'm going to start writing things down again. I am manifesting these things for myself again.
They're here. They're here already for you. I just know it.
Thank
So if
you.
you were to talk to then yourself in 20 years, what would you say to yourself in 20 years then?
Oh my
Looking,
God. I have no
looking,
idea.
it's so funny. This one sticks everyone every time.
Um, don't worry about your weight. You look fine. And that's a big one. And being a headshot photographer, and I shoot a lot of women, and so oftentimes women are so, oh my God, my this, my that, my this, my that. But I'm like, you look gorgeous. And you're gonna look back at these pictures in 5, 10 years and see how great you look, and you're gonna be mad that you didn't appreciate it.
Yes, I feel like we're in our sandbox right now. Like things have gotten so advanced as far as technology. We're just in the prime right now. Even being in my late 40s, I feel like the best place I've ever been in some ways. Some ways I'm not. I know I'm definitely heavier because of the pandemic. I'm working on that. But I feel like you said, the energy shift of, you know, screw it. Like, this is who I am. This is my voice. It has a message to be told. It may not be right for everyone, but it's going to be right for some things. So just to have
Right.
that confidence, I think would really, really be a game changer in these, what we call in this industry, our calling card, just to be able to know that you are fully you right before you
Hmm.
step onto the most hardest thing, I think, is just taking headshots. It's just an anomaly all of its own. It's a different kind of performance. And so speak to that a
It
little
is.
bit about how women can just do that checklist
Yeah.
for themselves mentally before they come in with you, so that they are fully present and not worrying about this and this and you know, like, yes, I have a double chin. Sure. Yes, it does happen now. I have that.
Y-
I've noticed that
y-
recently.
You look great. I don't know. I don't see the weight in your face. You look great. So, um, oh God, it's hard. I try. It's ingrained in so many, and it is usually women. I'm sorry to say, it's so ingrained that I have a hard time talking them out of it. One woman, who I know, I said, "Don't you have a 17-year-old daughter?" And she said, "Yeah." And I said, "Does she hear you saying these things about yourself?
Oh,
Because you're passing this on to this young woman,
that
which
is
is a
so
shame."
important. So
And
important.
also, no one sees the little things that I see. No one sees. You know what? Other people see your whole package. They don't zone in and go, "Oh my gosh, she's got crow's feet. Wow, that's awful."
Wow, she smiled in her life. That's like,
Yeah,
I mean, I
exactly.
would never do anything to my crow's feet. I like them because, it means that I was happy and, had a joyful life.
Facelift. There you go. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So
So
yeah,
maybe we
that's
need to put
that's
together a checklist for, you've got your outfit, you've got your mindset, you've got,
yeah, no kidding.
you're
And I try,
bringing
I
your
mean,
full self, like flaws and all, because the flaws, I feel like the flaws are what's so interesting in people. Like that's what and you see it more on camera these days. There's more of chance of seeing, oh, that's a person that I can identify with, that looks like a good everyday person.
yeah.
People are starting to actually cast in that way, which I love, I love, I love, I
Oh yeah.
love.
Oh yeah. And students, I can't tell you how many perfectionists we have in class. And I want to tear my hair out and say, that is boring. You cannot be perfect in this art. I mean, art isn't perfect. You
It's
can't, I
messy.
mean, let me, I need to get every single word exactly right for this audition. No, you don't.
No, you
You
need to be a
really don't.
C student right now.
Yeah, right.
There's something
When you
about
get
the
on
C
set,
student, though. There's something about that C student that, like, literally we gravitate to because they've got that charisma and spunk that's going to make up for whatever grades they don't have?
yeah, yeah. When you're on set, yeah, you better have your words down pat, unless the director says, you know what, let's throw the script away and let's say what you want. But to get something perfect is so, I hate hearing people say it, and also, and sound like somebody's grandmother, this generation, the anxiety,
Mm.
acute anxiety. And I want to say to people, why are you, this is not the business to be in, because there are so many negative forces, coming at you, that you need to have a tough skin. You need to move forward. You need to find your confidence so
Well,
you
you can
can move
always bring them
forward.
over to Undetoured and let them listen because we're
Yeah,
going to have
well,
so much content to help with that anxiety and those things, and mostly like a lot of guided meditation work, but just letting them know that they are enough.
well, you are enough. You are enough. I am enough. And I can't stress that enough with students and myself. Will you post about this on the Drama Inc. alumni page
Yeah, yeah,
on
absolutely.
Facebook?
I
Please
will.
do. Please, please,
Yeah,
please do.
absolutely, absolutely. And so obviously we talked about the shifts in that have happened as obviously we have talked
Is that
about
your husband? Is
no, no,
that
I
your
don't.
loser husband?
No, I think it was just my computer going off. But obviously we've talked about the shifts that happen as women throughout our lives, and then each season of our life it changes and we get a little bit more comfortable with who we are, and
Hmm.
that we are enough. And how does that dynamic or energy change relationship wise? Like for you guys, you and your husband are extremely both so dedicated to both helping your students but also your craft, that it takes you away a lot from
Hmm.
each other. And how throughout the years have you been able to shift it? Like how have you not had any dips there? Like how does that work so that there, and jealousy and all that, that can come into play when there's two people both on the same course, but sometimes someone will be a little bit further than the other or whatever. How explain that?
Sloan, that has never happened.
I love it.
The jealousy never, ever happened. I promise you that's never happened. A
Then
win
you've
for
met your
Jason.
soulmate,
A win for Jason is a win for me.
right? Because
You know
all
what?
ships
It's
rise. All ships rise. Like when,
Yes,
yeah,
absolutely. I'm as happy for him. If I haven't booked something in 4 months, whatever, I'm thrilled that he's booking things. Honestly, that's never been an issue. Being away from each other, we also have been married for many, many years. Being away from each other is fine. It's okay. Being married for so many, many years, we've had our dips. Believe me, we have. I'm sure you have too. I mean, no marriage is without
yeah.
shit, right?
Right, right. Because I mean, you can't like dedicate yourself to a lifetime with someone without having those dips. I mean, that's just life is that way. You're gonna have ups and downs.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
absolutely. I love it that you're
How did I feel that I was watching my husband make out with Heather Locklear the other night on the Lifetime movie? Uh-huh. It was very funny.
yeah, and she seems to be from all intents purposes just a wonderfully giving scene partner and a wonderfully giving human being as well, which have she's gone through some peaks and valleys
Yeah,
in her career. So how
yeah.
wonderful is this that she's able to experience this new shift with your best friend? That's so cool.
And they've become friends. So they chat and they text, and she is lovely. She's funny. She's irreverent. She's grateful.
Oh, I have
And
to get her on the show then.
oh gosh, right? Well, I'll talk to Jason. She's on her new path, and she's appreciative of where she is now. Um, yeah, that I mean, it's the movie, the Lifetime movie, Don't Sweat the Small Stuff was, and it did really well, and she did a lovely job. Jason was great. I loved his work in it.
I can't wait to see it. This has been so amazing, Kat, to just connect with you and to see kind of where you came from and where you're headed. So tell me just a little bit, if you're allowed to, about what's happening in 2022 with the terminal list and being able to work opposite Chris Pratt.
Can we talk Chris Pratt?
Is he just your best friend that you just want to hug like a teddy bear? I think that he
Oh my
would be.
God.
Like, I think of
He
him still as like the, days when he was back in Parks and Rec. Like, that's who
Parks and
I
Rec.
think he's never going to grow out of that. I would hope that that's the way he is.
Well, I didn't watch Parks and Rec, and when I saw my brother showed me. My brother lives in LA, so we spent a lot of time out there when I was shooting. Um, my brother showed me pictures, and I said, "That's that's not the guy I was working with." He went, "Yeah, that's Chris Pratt. He's huge. He's huge, buff, uh, freaking gorgeous. Let me just say that. Super nice, very inclusive. Oftentimes when you're on set, the leads will talk to each other. Even if you're standing right here, they'll just talk to each other, right? They don't really include you because you're not one of the big guns. But he did, and he was lovely. And the role is it's too. I play his mother-in-law, and it's a very emotional role. And so it was at a funeral, and I had to cry a lot, and I had to cry a lot, and I had to cry a lot. So I would, in between takes, I'm sitting with him, he's sitting next to me at the burial, and he's like rubbing my back, he's patting me on the back, and I'm like, are you kidding me? That is really so kind. And I love to use music when I work to get me into a zone, whatever zone I need to be in. And he had music permeating at the cemetery, and I was so thankful for it. It was really great. And he kept the set quiet because he wanted everyone to remain, quiet, calm, reverent about what we're about to do. So he was great. He was terrific. I don't have dates. I don't have dates at all. But the Terminal List, uh, uh, Alexis Louder is in it, who's from Atlanta. Tyner Rushing is in it, who's from Atlanta. They've got some pretty good roles in it, so that was very, very exciting to be on set with some pals.
Yeah, it's always wonderful when we see Atlanta actors getting the well due that they're deserved to be on screen with some A-listers, because it's so much talent here in Georgia. I've always said we
So
have the
much,
best talent here in Georgia.
so much.
I love that. That's
Have
so
you
wonderful.
seen Have you seen Cop Shop? If
No,
anyone
but
grew up
Alexis
watching Cop
Louder
Shop,
was in that as well, right?
not just in it. Oh,
Yeah,
oh no,
she's
no, no.
she's
She
one
is
of the
it.
leads. Yeah, yeah.
She's it. It's like the Alexis Louder show. So if you people haven't seen Cop Shop, I'm sorry, I keep hitting my computer. I'm on like 10 books here.
You're totally
Um,
fine.
Alexis Louder is an Atlanta-based actress, and she's still in class at Drama Inc.
Oh, wonderful. I haven't had the privilege to meet her yet, but I'm hoping eventually I'll get her on the show as well. I'd love to
She'd be a
talk to
great
her.
one. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. This is wonderful. Oh, I'm so excited for you and what's happening in your life. And I love seeing you in just, I don't get to see you in often in
I know.
person as much, but
Yeah.
you are so dear to me, and Jason is too. And I'm just so
Thank
grateful
you.
that you were able to
Thank you.
share with us just kind of what you went through, to kind of shift that mindset, because it's so important for
Mhm.
other women, especially, to see that they are enough, that they have exactly what they need inside of them, and they don't have to be perfect to be what is needed in this industry.
And here's to older girl power.
Absolutely. Yes. Yes. I think that finally we're getting to see more representation in that arena. I hope that there is more in the way of um, more significant roles for
Mhm.
women in the gap of, the 40s to 50s. I think there's wonderful for 60s and then of course on the lower end as well. But I'm hopeful that storytelling is going to show that there is more past having children.
Right. Right. I think it will. I think it will.
Yeah, yeah. And if there's just one thing you can impart as one last piece of advice for anyone listening, what would it be?
In terms of actors, or
Yeah, as far as storytellers in general, it doesn't necessarily have to be for actors, but
be truthful, trust yourself, trust your instincts, trust
yeah,
your instincts.
Excellent. And tell us,
I'm an instinctual actor. Yes.
yeah, tell us how we can find you, because you are a teacher. We want to be able to let people know that they can actually connect with you directly and learn from you. So tell us how we can find you both on social media as well as Drama Inc.
Dramainc.net is our website for the studio that we have here in Atlanta. I'm on Instagram. I don't really do Twitter that much. I'm on Instagram at I think it's the real cat Dyer, I think. Facebook, I don't really do that much anymore. If I post something, it's about a lost dog or cat, or it's about Drama Inc. I don't really go down the wormhole, and it's, freed up my life. I took Facebook off my phone. It's just it's too much.
I think that's one of the most important things you can impart. Take Facebook off your phone. I did that last year for a little bit, and I was so freed up in the first part of the year to create that I was able to write iteration of a screenplay. It was so wonderful. And Scott's has it off his phone permanently. I put it back on, and yeah, I regret it.
Yeah, no, I don't. I mine's off permanently as well. I find Instagram fun, and I'll make little videos for myself, and I shoot, take pictures and post them on Instagram. So that's more fun, and I don't post a lot about, I post some about my work, but not a lot.
Right.
I've been square dancing with Benicio del Toro for the last month.
Have you really? Oh, wow.
Whose life is this? What is this? What?
You've been square dancing with Benicio del Toro for the last month.
Reptile for Netflix.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
That sounds fascinating, that show.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh, well, yes. Yeah, the show's going to be, or the film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I call film shows also sometimes. Yeah.
Yes, I hope it's going to be good. We'll see. But yes, I just had to throw that in there because it's so bizarre. It is surreal.
Yeah, completely.
I show up and I'm like looking at Benicio del Toro, do-si-do, and round you go. I'm like, okay, all right. Let me just roll with it because I belong.
Yeah, you do. You completely do. Yep.
We all do. We all belong.
Exactly. We all belong. We need that on a shirt, a t-shirt.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Kat. This has been amazing. I just love connecting with you. Thanks for tuning in to Undetoured, Navigating the Artist Journey. If you enjoyed this episode, please do me a favor and subscribe and leave a 5-star review. And please check out our other episodes on Spotify and Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. And in return, my gift to you is a short, invigorating meditation to get your day started. You can find its link, along with other links to Undetoured, in this episode's description. This episode was produced and edited by Jeffrey Bentley and hosted by Sloan Warren.